Today we're going to be talking about the inner voices that you might be hearing inside of your head that may be conflictive when it comes to acting. So you may find that on the business side of things, for example, you may be feeling very ambitious, but you're feeling that like the industry is too challenging for you, it's too brutal, or you hate it. You might feel like you have a lot of talent and you know it inside of you as an actor. But at the same time, when you have a big opportunity or an audition, you feel that your instrument is closing up on you. You may feel like when it comes to acting, you really want to be free and instinctive, but the way that you're preparing the scene is that you're really controlling it. You're trying to plan ahead of time everything that's going to happen, right? So there may be a lot of conflictive voices inside of you, a lot around the business side of things. Another example that I hear a lot is like, I want an agent and I have no credits, but I don't know where to start. Or I have an agent, and so, that's good, but I'm having doubts about whether they're the right agent or not, so I'm not really moving, and I'm staying in with the current agent that I'm at, even though I'm a bit conflicted about how things are happening with them. So in a way, I feel like what I'm often seeing is that actors are passionate artists. They want to work. They really do want it. And at the same time, there's something in them that closes when it's time to work. And there's something in them that's like not ready to take action. And it feels a little bit blurry. So if you're experiencing conflictive inner voices, that may be your sensation, that you're unclear, that it's blurry. And if you've been having conflictive voices inside of you for a long time, again, whether it's about the business side of things, you as an actor, or you when you're acting and having, a last minute change of mind, which is like, oh, I'm making this choice, and at the last minute you're having conflictive thoughts, and you're like, oh shit, what if it's the other choice, and what if I should do this instead, right? So it's a blurry. Sometimes I hear actors say that they have their heads spinning. If you've been doing that for a long time, you might feel exhausted. You might feel like you're a little bit worn out, right? You might feel like, there's some certainty inside of here. I'm sure I am talented, but then there's all these ways that I'm showing up or not showing up that make me feel so confused. Like I have an opportunity and I shrink, or there's actions I could be taking for my career and I'm not taking them. Right? So you might really catch yourself there a lot, and you might realize that it's making you unhappy as a whole in terms of your acting career. I hear a lot of actors talking about the pain of the acting career, or the pain of even acting, because if you change your mind in the last minute, it can become difficult. I hear a lot of actors being unhappy also in other areas of their life, like it's kind of reflecting in every aspect of your life. Like your vitality is down and your relationships are a little bit wonky too. Like your finances. It ends up being a thing if you have conflictive voices up there that affects all of your life. And so it can really be exhausting. It can be wearing you out. I hear a lot of actors who come into our community, whether they're beginners or that they've been in the industry and even working for decades and decades, that are worn out, like that are really like coming to a point of so much conflicting energies inside that they're not functioning anymore, that they're becoming dysfunctional about their life and about their approach to their passion, which is really sad, because obviously if you hit the accelerator and the gas at the same time, it's just like two very strong energies that are conflicting inside of you, but that cannot move you forward. They're just two big extreme energies, and they're contradicting. So you're unable to work with that because they're just canceling each other out, right? Your brake pedal is completely canceling the gas, and the gas is completely canceling the brake. So it can definitely make you worn out. It can make you bitter. I hear a lot of actors complain about the industry and start blaming external reasons, right? The industry is too brutal, or there's too much competition, or it's the country that I'm in, or it's my age, or it's my, the way I look, or things like that. And so in a way, it's really a downward spiraling loop. It's very uncomfortable. And obviously you got into acting because you're a passionate artist. And if you're finding yourself stuck into that loop of, having so many conflicting thoughts and ideas when it comes to your acting, that you're starting to feel worn out, burned out, bitter, you're definitely carrying that into your auditions and into your work. And so it's felt, and it's not fulfilling for you. It's not impactful to the casting directors or the audience. So in short, it's not working, right? It's definitely not working to allow that. And what I would like us to talk about today is actually what's really happening and why you're really having those conflicting thoughts. The problem, I want to say, is not the conflictive thought. The problem is not the conflictive thought. The real problem actually is that you allow the conflictive thought to remain a loop. And when that loop continues to be conflictive inside of you, and those two big pull and push energies are fighting each other, like I want it so much and I'm so passionate and I'm so talented, I know it inside, and yet I shrink when there's an opportunity, or I don't take action when I can get the help, or when I can meet or network with a casting director or a director, or I can send that letter from my heart. When those energies are conflicting for a long time, that's when you start losing your energy, because basically you're not aligned, right? There's part of you that's going in one direction and part of you that's going in the other, and you're not doing anything about it. You're just sitting there noticing those energies going left and right. Well, you're not going to be able to move, and you're going to be staying in that position of just hearing those two noises, and it's just unbearable. And obviously you're going to have to put the blame on someone else, because just sitting there and taking responsibility for it is not going to do it. If you take responsibility for those conflicting thoughts, if you start being with them and you start acting on them, then you get out, right? But I meet so many actors that are frustrated with how they're feeling, how they're showing up, how they missed an opportunity, how they shrunk during a big audition, and yet they're not willing to step outside of that comfort zone, to step outside of this dilemma, to actually try something new, to recognize this position that I'm looping in is not working for me. It's not fulfilling for me in terms of how I'm approaching this industry. It's not fulfilling for me into how I'm even acting. It's not working. And therefore, whatever it is that I've put together, if that's not working, I need to get out of that loop and do something else. I need to take a big leap and try something else, right? Because if you're not doing that, you'll have the impression that you still have this big dream and this big passion and this big talent, but all of this resistance to go for it, all of this resistance to even open for it, and then you just blame people, right? So the two things that are possible is you're feeling those conflicting voices inside of you about how ambitious you are, but how too brutal the industry is, about how you want to make a choice and be open, but then the big opportunity comes and you panic and shrink and want to change your choice at the last minute. And if you stay in that loop and you don't do anything about it, and you just think, well, that's just how things go, if you stay into that conflict, you're going to loop downward. And if you loop downward and those two energies are fighting with each other, you are going to start to blame external circumstances. You're going to start to blame the industry. You're going to start to blame competition. You're going to start to blame a specific casting director. You're going to start to blame your agent, etc., etc. This does not work. This energy that you're adding to the loop, which is blaming people outside of you, will not work, right? Getting help or finding other ways to do it and then saying, yeah, but it's not the right time, or I don't have the right money, also external circumstances. I have too much going on, so I can't change the sauce that I'm doing right now. I can't try something new. That's blaming an outside circumstances. I don't have the money right now to try something new, to try a new workshop, to update my reel, to do something about my headshots, external circumstance. when your energy is aligned and you really want to do something and you're open to it and you're clear, you will find solutions. Obstacles won't be problems. They'll just be things to overcome, things to work through, right? So if you're catching yourself having conflicted voices, but actually allowing those conflicted voices to become a loop inside of which you're living, and you're not doing anything about it, you're just sometimes resourcing yourself in your dream and just sometimes complaining about all the resistance that you're feeling and blaming people outside, you're just making a bigger loop that's not going to be satisfying for you, that is not going to give you the results you want when it's time to show up for you as an actor. Another way to do it that will work is to actually acknowledge that there's conflicting voices inside of you. Okay, I'm talented. I feel that. I know that deep inside of me. And I had an opportunity and I shrunk. Okay, that's valuable information. That's valuable information. I want it and I can't do it. Okay, so what am I doing with that? Be a pro about it. Look at the reality of the situation. I know I can do it, and something inside of me closes when I have an opportunity. Okay, do I need help? Do I need to talk to my agent and get some coaching from them? Do I need to start working with a workshop, or in the work that we do, we actually work on resistances, right? We don't teach people how to act. We don't teach them a method or a technique. We actually undo all of that, undo the resistances, undo the conditioning so that you can be in your truth and in your freedom and get the clarity. And from there, you can take decisions that emanate from you, right? So the one loop that doesn't work is to stay with the conflict, just be with it. And the reason you do that is not because there's something wrong with you. It is because you've been conditioned out of yourself. You've been raised, you've been to school, you've been hanging out in a culture that says, don't be you, don't be your truth, don't feel your feelings, do what other people want of you. Make sure you please, make sure you behave, make sure you think, make sure you feel, make sure you think like others tell you you should. And then you'll be safe. Right? So that's your conditioning. That's your programming, your wiring. Inevitably, this clogs your tubes because those are not your tubes. Behaving like someone else, thinking like someone else, pleasing someone else, feeling what someone else wants you to feel, and thinking what someone else tells you to think is not you. It's someone else, right? That's conditioning. If you want to get to your truth, you need to unclog those things. They're clogging your tubes. So inevitably, you're conflicted. Inevitably, you have one thought and it's opposite because you've been raised to not be you. You've been raised to not hang out with you, with your truth, with your intuition, with your instinct, with your freedom, with your authenticity. You have been raised to behave in a way that works for others and for society. As an artist, this doesn't work. You can't be clear, because this is the other side of the spectrum. If you're clear, if you're unresistant, if you're free and authentic, when you want something and there's an obstacle in front of you, you just acknowledge the obstacle, you look at it and you go, okay, what are my options here? I'm going to walk through that because when I'm clear, my going from A to B, nothing stops me. If I'm here and I want to go there, nothing will stop me. When you were a child, you were clear. You wanted to walk. You were here, not walking. You wanted to walk from A to B. What did you do? You fell 100 million times, but you got up each time and you never let go because you were clear, because you were unconditioned, right? Then you get conditioned and your parents and your teachers tell you, hey, don't do this, don't feel this, don't think that, don't behave like that, don't do that, right? So they're telling you to never trust who you are. Never trust your intuition, your instinct, your freedom, your authenticity. And they're telling you to do how other people are telling you to do. And that is what is starting to create the conflict. So it's okay. This is the world we live in, right? You've been conditioned. But now it's time for you to be responsible about it. You're not a child anymore. So when you notice the conflict inside of you, catch it and go, okay, here I am with one push energy from inside of me that's oozing out of me that knows there's talent and I am ambitious and this is what I want. If I'm finding some conflicting thoughts in front of me that are doubting, that are hateful, that are blaming the industry, what can I do to work through them? Like, I know a lot of people want to join, our reset journey from resistance to freedom. A lot of people come to us and say, oh, I still want to join, but it's not the right time. I still want to join. I know I'm not free. I really want to get free. I have opportunities and I'm missing them all, but I have another class. Or I don't have the money right now. I have other things to do. I want people to make sure that they can be in their power. Stop blaming outside circumstances. When you don't have money for something that's going to change your world, you will find the money. When you don't have time for something that will give you the time, you will make the adjustments in your schedule to find the time. Let's be clear. Let's be responsible. Let's be in your power. The second you hear yourself having victimized thoughts, you're not in your power. You gave your power away to an external source, which is not going to help you to show up for yourself. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. If you want more information, if you want to talk to us about this, if this resonates, let us know. In the link in the bio, you'll find in Facebook, in the About section, you'll find a free training that talks about how to go from trying to be a good actor to being a great actor. So make sure you catch that one if you haven't yet. And that will definitely help you to dive deeper in. If you know that you want to go much deeper than that, just let us know, send us a DM, and we'll send you some information. You can also sign up on our wait list to access the Reset Journey from Resistance to Freedom, and then we'll send you some free content in the meantime. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.